Hey guys, welcome back to the submission set. This is level 166, therapeutic toggle transmission. I kind of brain farted there. Okay, so this level I made out of the walls of Clear the Way, which was a very awkward layout because there was this big old room to work with, and I didn't really know what to do with it. All I knew going into designing this was I wanted it to be a toggle wall themed level, and I kind of just threw this big section away with just a pretty cool but otherwise not very interesting block guiding section. It doesn't really involve toggling at all. I feel like I definitely could have done something different with this section. There's actually two ways you can go about this. Yeah, like this. So I actually didn't submit this initially. A lot of people really wanted me to, and the only reason why I did was because of this section right here. Like everything after that first room I think is really cool. So now I need to get the fireball through here. Which isn't that hard. And now you gotta do this thingamajig. What kind of concept would one call this? There we go. I guess it was present in road sign. Also, I love this blob thing. But that's the level. That is all there is to this one. I'm not too impressed with it. I think had I made this level without the wall template constraint, or rather just used a different template, probably could have been better, but Clear the Way was one of those templates in CCLP3, one of the many templates from that set that you had to work with it. That's all that came down to it. I used it, I made a level out of it, and I did my best to make, sorry about that, I did the best I could to make good use of the template. Other than that first room, I like everything else in this one. So I'd probably give this maybe a 3 in voting. 2 or 3. Take a Bite of My Heart is the next one. So this was the last level I designed for Walls of CCLP3, and this uses Item Unlocker. And there's been a lot of close my water bottle. There was a lot going in my head when I was designing this one because it was the last template I had. I clearly, like, throughout the entire project, I had no clue what to do with Item Unlocker. Like, it felt specific in some places, but in others it really didn't. And there was, obviously being the last template, there was quite a bit of self pressure. Oh yeah, this room is new. There was a lot of pressure on myself, or I was putting on myself, to make it, because it was the only thing that was keeping me from finalizing or finishing the set. So I had to kind of fight the urge off of making some throwaway level with this template. And it was, I think this turned out to be probably one of the best levels in Walls of CCLP3, honestly. I think filling in some of the space I didn't need with sockets, it helped alleviate a lot of the pressure. It actually allowed me to enforce a particular way to go about this. And I like how it turned out, and I think it's been very well received. I know the version Jeffrey played in his Let's Play of this set was a pretty bad version of it. A lot of the sections were different and confusing. And the one that JB played was the superior version. Other than that one room in the top left. That's all there was to it. This might be the hardest section, but I like the way this works. And honestly, the non-linearity of this one, I think really, really helps this a lot. Okay, so you have to do this trick, lure it over there, and you have to go all the way back around. Okay, now for the final thing, you just go back and get some teeth. You can just store them in there, and they'll naturally go to the bombs. Okay, let's see if I can get both of these guys. Just make sure they don't get stuck in the trap. Good. That has not happened before. There we go. Alright, that is Take a Bite of My Heart. I'm happy with what I did with it. I'm super glad I didn't make a crap level out of the last remaining template just to finish the set, because that's like the worst thing you can do for any level set. It's just you have one level left and you don't know what to do with it, and you just kind of end up making something that just doesn't really fit with the level, the set, or anything like that. And that was something I kind of learned with my half of Trading Places. I made a lot of levels that just didn't use the templates well. So while I was waiting for Jeffrey's half, I kind of went back and later on and redesigned some of the levels I made for my half of that set to make this experience better. And I think it paid out for the most part. All right, Mysterious Geoglyph. So this was made for the block crate competition from way back when. And I like how I like what I did with this. This uses the walls of beach balls, which is a pretty awkward. It's a pretty awkward template, but it's not too hard. Okay, so I think, yeah, this teleport section is is without doubt the hardest part of this. So I basically need the partial post. Which I think you can just do like this. There we go. And I think this level is what started this 2-tile wide Sokoban craze I was on during the construction of this set. I don't know why. I just thought, you know, it's different and no one else has really done it before. It seems like a pretty interesting concept to try to theme around throughout the set, so I just kind of went with it. Let's see. I know you kind of have to do like a nail thing, and I like how I like how I made this. This is really cool, I think. You have to set a nail up so you can get a block right there, and then you have to push it up like that. Okay, then I think you have to do it again. So you have to do this a couple times, but I think this room is the best room. Some people have mixed feelings about the teleport one, but you know, for the space, that's really all I could have done with it. And I don't regret it. I'm still happy with that section. Alright, Glamorous Diamond Downs. I think this is another one I didn't initially submit. I didn't think too much about this one, admittedly. So this uses you can't teach an old frog new tricks. And that template definitely demanded to be filled with some kind of border. And that's kind of where the blue and green locks came from. There we go. So that shuts off the cloner. And we can go in here. Okay, so this section is a little tricky, but it's doable. You have to do that. You have to loop the bug, because it's a good meme that a lot of people seem to like. Oop. So let's see, what was this section? I don't remember, even though it's like one of the most iconic levels in all of Chip's Challenge. I don't remember too much of Old Frog New Tricks other than I just hate the level. So okay, I think yeah, you gotta get one through there. 3, 4. There we go. This is the starting room of the original. But I like how this turned out, all things considered. I mean, I think I didn't submit it because I don't think I got the most positive feedback on this. But I think that might have been the case of just where I placed it in the set. Because I placed it in Walls of CCLP3, I placed it, like I think it was like 71 or 72. And Looking back, I think that was a questionable decision. Yeah, you have to push one up. And then you have to do this. There we go. Okay, go through here. Alright, so... It's amazing how just the placement of a level can kind of hinder it in some aspects. Okay, so do I want... Oh, you don't need all the blocks. Oh, I think I knew that. And you just gotta get rid of the key because you can't have it. Yeah, I want to say that was my intention with that. Okay, I think you're forced to do this. Right? Yeah, and you do this. That's not a hard circle bond by any means. Okay, now that we got all the chips, go down here, collect the green key, find an obtainable blue key to reach the exit. And when JB played this, I had a pretty fun time watching him trying to find a key for him to obtain. And I love the one you can get. The only one you can get is down here. So you have to set up a nail. Come down here and collect that one. And now, you're like, oh, that's it. That's all I gotta do. Nope, you still gotta fill in that water spot for where the Walker cloner was pouring into. So this one was a fun one to build. I'm glad people liked it enough to want to see it in the submissions. So there you go. I'm happy with how it turned out. The aesthetic is fun. The non-linearity of it is pretty cool. There are some tricky bits like the teeth on the top left and the fireball at the bottom, but other than that, I think it's a solid level. All right, Charmed Ridge. So one thing I did with this is I actually centered this one. I went against the spirit of a Walls of set. So this uses Shattered. And it's named after a Spyro 3 level. Which has a pretty fun soundtrack. But yeah, Shattered, like a lot of CCLP3 levels, some of them were, for whatever reason, like built in the bottom right corner. I think like 3 of them in the 90s decade were like that. And I don't know why, but they were. So for this submitted version, I centered the level because I could. Because I can, I guess. Okay, so let's hit this. I changed this up. This wasn't like this in the original. The teeth would initially follow you on your way down here, but I set it up. I changed it in such a way that you can come down here to see it before freeing the teeth, which is cool. Get you out of the way. All right. Avoid the red buttons once there are 3 blocks left. Be cautious of a tooth monster upon opening the socket. So that the latter part of that hint was not originally in the set. I added it just to give that caution for the end. So this is kind of like a revert, kind of like a sardine can, but a little different. Okay, so I'm going to set that up right there and then do that. So now those are open. So pressing any of these red buttons is going to clone a block that's blocking the chip behind the red lock. Right there. There we go. There we go. Okay, and the exit's right here. That is Charmed Ridge done. Pretty fun level. Oh, Tank Game Reborn with the time limit of Twisted Chambers bolt time. At least as of this recording. I doubt that can... I don't know if that can be increased at all, but just in case someone eventually says, oh, 629 Twisted Chambers somewhere. So this was another case like Jumble's walls and Producing's walls. Twisted Chambers was another template I had to reuse again because I had already made Tropical Hibiscus with them, which is already a pretty good level. I mean, it got into CCLP5. I mean, I guess that doesn't necessarily mean it was good, but well, I'd like to think it was. Oh, it's like that. Okay, I had that backwards. So what I did, so unlike a Semi-Perfect Stronghold, and I guess to an extent Condemned Facility, I actually had a plan with this layout. Like once I realized it was like, I think this was like one of the latter ones I used. It was like I was well into the 100s in terms of level count that I've had for Walls of CCLP3 at this point in the design. I think I already had like 119 levels or something. So this was a fairly late template I used. I remember that. But one thing I realized, of all the levels that this template made, all of them were linear. That was like the first thing I caught on to when I got to Twisted Chambers and Walls of CCLP3. Oh, I blew that up.
Bummer.
I'm an idiot. So, Twisted Chambers was obviously a linear level. Tropical Hibiscus that I made was linear. The level that Jeffrey made out of them, I think it was Duplicity and Walls of CCLP4, was also linear, which kind of surprised me. I kind of thought he would have used a non-linear approach with the template, but I'm really, in hindsight, I'm glad he didn't, because that's what led to this level. I realized that this template allowed for a non-linear structure, and no one had tapped into it by the time I got to it. I thought, hey, you know, I could take total advantage of that. Like, there was nothing stopping me from using this middle corridor as like a network of paths to connect other rooms. And what led to tanks was, well, quite simply, I didn't quite have a tank level in the set yet, or whichever ones I did, I didn't feel like it actually used the tanks very well. There we go. So I said, hey, you know what? What if I made a non-linear tank level out of a template that's been used like 4 times now? And that's how this level kind of came to be. So I kind of had to think about like unique ways to fit tanks in all these rooms. And by far my favorite is the bottom left room, which I'm going to do now because it's legit. Although it's a little broken in MS and there's really nothing I can do about it. But I'm going to do it the way I intended. So this concept was inspired by, I think a level that the designer that made Inferno Dynamics in Walls of CCLP5, he made this level called, I think it was like Coins in a Bottle or something like that. And the concept was cool, but the way it was executed in that level in particular was just, it was pretty heavily flawed. So I just decided to fit that concept in that little nicely shaped room in the bottom left, and I love the way it works. It's sad that it's broken in MS because of how traps work, but you know what? It is what it is. I like it enough still to not change it entirely. I also like this little thing. Like, you have to flip the tanks to get to this key, but you can't get into any other room because of it. Like, that touch is just so... I'm more proud of myself for that than almost anything else in this level, honestly. Okay, so you just simply just have to do that. And there you go. That is Tank Game Reborn. Very easily a 5. I'm giving this a 5 in voting, hands down. I think this would be a perfect, fairly early level in CCLP5, like maybe like a 30s level or a 40s level. I would lower the time limit a little bit, just because it doesn't need to be 628. I think you can get away with it being like 470 or 480 or something like that. It doesn't need to be as high as it is. But I love that level. I'm so happy with it. All right, Landmine Park. So this one uses Diabolical. And I think I could have done a little better with this opening room. I think this opening room kind of drags a little. But once you get out of this room, you're out of the room. You don't really have any reason to come back to it. Well, other than to get the flippers there, but that'll be when the time comes. And all those blocks up there, you cannot access. Those are there just to make the player think they have to go up there, but they have no reason to. There are fire boots under the block in this room. Okay. Simple enough. Just do that. And now we have this section, which, you know, the way it works is pretty cool. Like how the teleports are used here. I think it's neat. Okay. Alright, so these force floors are here to indicate that there's something under this block, in which case is that. A tank button. So you can come down here and get this last chip, or second to last chip, and then you can get the real last chip behind the thief, because you have to lose the fire boots. And flippers, but the flippers you don't really have a reason to use anymore. So now, this is where it gets tricky. What you have to figure out is you have to partial post down. And I like the way this works. This is really cool. Might not be obvious, but I like it. Okay, so push this up right here. Yeah, this bottom right section was a little awkward to work with, but I think I used it well enough. Okay, and then you just walk to the exit. All right, landmine park done. Mudslide. Ah, yes, this fairly good repurpose of water slide. Let's not go there yet. I want to collect that first. So this kind of had to be done. Once I realized that I can make the name pun, it kind of had to be made. So all these blocks, they can't be pushed. They're basically clone machine blocks, or block clone machines. Someone, I think it was Jeffrey when he played this. I believe he said that he wished the blocks were pushable. And I think that would be nice, and it would allow for a lot more shortcuts than there already are in the level, which I don't think there's that many, but there are still some. Okay, this just loops around. Pushing the blocks around on the ice, I just didn't trust that. Damn it. I felt like that would provide more risk and harm than it would benefit the player. Because yeah, you can make shortcuts once you clear dirt on both sides, but then you have the obstacle of what if the player accidentally pushes the block into another block on the ice and they get killed because they didn't react fast enough. It's one of those things that I didn't want to risk or put the player at risk with, so I just didn't make it an option. So I was willing to sacrifice the potential for more shortcuts and more easy solve than if it meant not putting the player at more risk than they needed to be at. But I think it'd be kind of cool to if I made like a mod of this where all the blocks were pushable, or most of them at least. Maybe not the ones by the exit, but okay, so there we go. Go through here. But yeah, I basically had no other idea for water slide. I just retained the force floor pattern, changed it to ice paths, and just made this maze out of it. I think it works. It's honestly the best way you can reuse water slides layout, like the full layout, not just the walls. I mean, you could make anything with the walls, and it could probably just not be that good. Okay, I think the last one's down here. Yeah. And the pi symbol is with sockets, because of course it is. And then you can exit. Alright, that is Mudslide. Now we're on Dig Me Out. Oh boy, this one. Oh, I love this one. Honestly, this is probably my favorite level in the entire set. That's how much I like this. So this uses Pushy, and the title comes from Tyler. And there's actually kind of an amusing story behind it. So the title, I think, references some song. I forget who sings it, but it's by a person. Well, who else would it be by? And he had this title on reserve for himself for like years, and I wasn't like super serious about it, but I kept like low key, like what's it called? Bugging him to make a level with the title, because the title is legit, and I wanted to see it used, but I know he really wanted it himself. And one day, I was making, I think it was sometime working on this set, some level. It wasn't this one, obviously, but he finally gave it up, and he let me use the title. And that is not where I wanted you to go, but you do come back. That's a good thing to know. That's a very good thing to know. I don't think I intended that, but that's a nice convenience. Okay, so I think now it just goes to the bomb, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's the intended solution. So when he gave me the title, I knew I wanted to make a level as good as possible with it. And I had Pushy on reserve for something. I didn't know what, but I had it on reserve. And okay, I'm just going to shove that one in the corner, because these ones can't be used. And because of a change I made to this level, you actually need all the blocks for the end. There we go. Okay, so now we get this block out here. So I felt like it would be a nice little thing to use this title on a level template that Tyler originally made. I don't know. It's just something I thought would be really cool. Okay, so this section's a little confusing, but I like it. I like how it works. So you have to partial post up first before pushing him into the water, so you can free this block. And of course, there had to be a partial post required because it was a Tyler template. But yeah, I'm pretty convinced this is one of, if not the best walls of CCLP3 level. Okay, press that. Yeah. It's supposed to be like a little questionable fake out thing, but it's pretty easy. Okay, so now we have to go through this. Push that there. And you have to get rid of this yellow key, because there's a yellow key nail or a yellow door nail at the exit, or before the exit. Okay, now we just have this trek of block pushing. What do you want? What do you know? Do you get nervous making me go? I think that's the lyrics from that song title. I wish I remembered who the artist of the song was, though, off the top of my head. I know their name starts with an S, or their band name starts with an S. I don't know if it's a singer or a band. I'm not a music expert, so I don't know much about real music out there. But that's Dig Me Out solved. And now we're on Fake Wall Biome. So this one and Nosos from earlier, the Walls of Complex level, I didn't talk about it because I was talking about something else when I played Nosos, but I originally made Nosos within these walls, and this is Vulcan's walls, and yeah, I originally made Nosos with these walls until I realized that it just wasn't working, so I swapped them. All right, all blue walls are fake, as if that needed to be known about. So this was inspired by a very similar level called Fake. I think it was called Fake Wall Scramble. I think that was by Jacques. I think it was like a Jacques S1 level or S2 level. I don't know, but point is that inspired it. And fake walls are fun. Okay, so this, it's not known, but, or you can sort of see it, but, oh, I forgot to clear that. Oops. Okay, well, let's go do that first. There we go. Yeah, Vulcan's walls are a thing. I mean, there's so much open space. There's not much that can really be done with this, I don't think. I just knew I didn't want a puzzle heavy level like Vulcan itself was. Like, Vulcan is... oof. I like JB's levels and all, but that's probably one of the few ones of his I hope I never have to play again. Not because it's not good, but because it's just that difficult for me. Okay, so this section's a little weird. So I can go in here no problem and collect that. But now, yeah, you have to do a fairly specific thing. And this can definitely throw off someone. I think this got JB twice. So you have to enter it through here first, get the teeth up here, and then exit that. And then it's just simply getting the rest of them in here. Okay, not too bad. Oh yeah, and I don't recommend using the blob. The blob's here just as a joke. But I mean, good luck if you can get the blob there, good luck. In all seriousness, I would remove that if this got in CCLP5. Okay, so this is a little intimidating, but it's honestly very easy. You just gotta keep that path intact, and everything else is kind of free. It's definitely one of those things that looks pretty scary and very involved, but it really is just this simple. And that was the intention. It was to look scary and look daunting, but actually be like stupid easy. Okay, let's just not clear that. Right there. I think that's all of them. Yeah. And you don't need the blocks for afterwards either. Alright, so I think it's just this stuff left. Which isn't that hard. Yeah, thankfully there's not much involved with this section either. That's kind of what this whole level is about. It's like a lot of the stuff looks scary and daunting, but it's honestly a lot of it's just really straightforward. And that is Fake Wall Biome. I'll probably give this like a 4 in voting. It's pretty good. I really like it. Oh, the title is cut off from there because of my window size. Here, I'll just go ahead and widen it real quick so you can see it. All right, 17,000 miles from humanity. All right, this one uses Blockhead.
Bummer.
And this was the 100th level I made for the set. I'm just gonna go up. and I didn't really know what to do with it. It just kind of became a sort of campaign level, but not really. I wouldn't know what kind of level to call this.
Bummer.
Oh. Maybe not campaign, but linear variety level? Well, it's not even linear. Like, well, this first bit is linear, but the rest of it really isn't. Okay, go back. Alright, and you go through here. Alright, so let me set this up real fast. You go around here and save a trip. Okay. I think there's one extra. Yeah, there's definitely one extra. And that's just in case you misstep. I was generous enough to provide an extra one. I could remove it, but I don't want to. This doesn't break anything at the end of the day. Alright, so this is where it kind of splits up, and you can do, well, really there's only two choices of what you can do here. You could do this puzzle or the other one. I'm going to do this one first, because this is a little tricky to parse, but not too bad. Okay, so let me go reverse this down here real quick so I can get this out. Then we can go back. So it's just using blocks to free other blocks before you push them all to the water. Okay, and then you have this weird thing with the chips. So this top section is supposed to resemble a road. That's what the locks are for in the gravel. Okay, so that's the last two are right here. Then we have a toggle thingy. So in some ways, this kind of retained what Blockhead did. Because this room is also a block guiding thing. It's just so set up for it. It's like, what else can you do with it? Like, honestly. I gotta go all the way around. I know some people don't really like this part because there's a bit of back and forthing to it. You know, I can admit to that. But I don't know. I enjoy that. I think that's just what toggle walls do. I think that their very nature kind of requires some back and forthing and a lot of context. So I mean, what are you really doing with toggle walls? If it's not backtracking, what else are you gonna do with them? You know, block a monster off or something like that. Alright, so that's all the chips. So now we can go this way. And eventually one fireball will hit this stuff right here. So the tank right here is supposed to resemble like a indicator of when where the fireball is. It's what it's supposed to be there for. Okay, then you got this ending section, which I will admit, this bottom room I definitely did throw away. I didn't know what else to do with it, so I guess this would qualify as a campaign level. I'm just gonna block myself in here because this is where the exit is. I don't have to leave the room anymore. So I think that's 4 blue keys. Can't get in any of those ones. That didn't have anything under it. Okay, so that's 5 of them. I think that's all of them. Oh. There's even more. Okay, so you can't get to that exit. The real exit is right there. Yeah, that is quite literally a throwaway section. I threw a fake out exit just to get the player. So that is 17,000 miles from humanity. The name doesn't reference anything. It's just something that came to mind, and I don't know. I like it. Okay, so that being said and done, I think this is a perfect time to stop. A perfect place to stop. We will... How many did we play? I think we played 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 levels. Okay, so yeah, we will take on Orange Computer Veil, and, you know, we'll continue the Walls of CCLP3 stuff in the next couple of videos. And yeah, really gotta get pushing, because as of this recording, it's the 27th of January, and I got 4 days left to play a little over 70 levels. It's doable. It's definitely very doable. I don't have anything else on my plate to do other than just wait till the nighttime to record, and just hopefully I don't get too tired to not do so. So we'll get it done though. The videos will definitely be coming out after the deadline though, but that doesn't mean they're being played live. That is just because it was recorded prior. So just keep that in mind when I get there. But thanks for listening in or watching, guys. Hope you hope you enjoyed. I appreciate the viewing or the listening, and hopefully some of the stuff I've said about these levels has been interesting to you, or you found it interesting to know about some of these levels' backstories, if they had any. I don't remember a whole lot, especially since I'm kind of doing this in a kind of a rapid pace, and that's my own fault. My memory is kind of cloudy on a lot of these, but like Dig Me Out and Fake Wall Biome, I remember those ones for the most part fairly well, and take it by to my heart as well. So thanks for watching, listening, and we'll see you next time.